Hey everybody, Bob Babbitt here. Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Daytona PTO 2020 Championship. We are brought to you by Captiva Spine, John Hall Chevrolet, USA Triathlon, Foundation Risk Partners, and the PTO, the Pro Triathletes Organization. With us, Ironman 70.3 World Champion and 2019 70.3 silver medalist, Holly Lawrence. How are you?
Hey, yeah, good. Thanks, Bob.
When I think back to that race last year, that brings back some great memories because we were standing at the finish line and, really you had an injury where you didn't know where your career was going, if it was over or not. And to see you take the silver medal there, the raw emotion coming out of you at that finish, it was a special moment for me. I can only imagine what it was like for you.
Yeah, I mean, the injury was a bit after that, way before that. So, I was pretty certain I was back, but Nice definitely threw in more challenges with that big climb and the big descent, and I'm not the best descender. So, yeah, I was stoked with that race. I felt like it was the best that I could have done on that course. So,
right.
Yeah.
And just to be back racing at that elite level again.
Yeah.
It changed it. So this 2020, you got to go to Cozumel. You're one of those lucky people who got to do a race.
Yeah, I snuck one in there.
70.3 Cozumel. And just how have you dealt with all the COVID craziness?
Yeah, I mean, this year has felt like so many years.
It did, right?
At the beginning of shutdown, we thought, this is going to be a few weeks. We just need to get through it. And then, it just kept changing and changing. And I felt like I've gone through so many different phases in this year of either, taking it easy or, really training hard again. And then when Cozumel was a possibility, I really just snuck out there, not knowing whether it was going to happen or not. And when it did, I was just stoked to get something in. It wasn't it wasn't a super strong field. So I knew I was kind of comfortable.
Right.
I wasn't pushed. So this is the first race where it's this is serious again. It's been like a whole year.
Right. I know. And you're a person who likes to race.
Yeah, I love to race. I love to go through those motions, go through those those nerves and everything. And it's just been so long that we're all kind of it's kind of new in a way. So yeah. And
then you've had an opportunity to ride the track here?
Yeah, I did yesterday on the first lap. I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And you see all those multicolored seats.
Yes.
That look like people, and you can imagine it with a roaring crowd, full to the brim. And you get those feels and you're like, wow, this is amazing. And then I did another lap and another lap and another lap. And then I'm like, oh my God, 20 laps is a long way.
And especially yesterday, the backside there is windy and crap.
Yeah. And it just got windier and windier the longer we were on it. So yeah, 20 laps seems a bit intimidating, but
you gotta be a math major to figure that out. Counting
maths
that thing
isn't my strong point. Counting's not my strong point. My mum just reminded me the other day of I stopped 100 meters short in a 400 swim race when I was younger. And I wasn't young enough where it was cute and totally acceptable. So I was like, oh yeah, thanks mum. Thanks for reminding me that now. But luckily I have a Garmin that should keep track. So
should be able to keep track of what's going on. The mix of ITU athletes and 70.3 and Ironman World Champions is going to make this really, really unique. When you look at this, and also the 20-meter draft rule, all of that, just give me an idea of what your thoughts are. Do you look at the other athletes? A lot of these ITU athletes you might not know, might not have raced before, and the mix is going to be pretty special. Yeah,
I mean, even the girls in long course that we don't really hear about because just the dynamics of a normal race, it doesn't come together. But, there's super strong bikers that I think here is so much more critical that we may see, people doing, in the top that we're not used to hearing about or talking about. So, and the ITU athletes, it's going to be super interesting. And, everyone was eyeing themselves up yesterday when we were out on the track because we were all got our time slots. So it's pretty funny.
Well, and the other thing, because people haven't really raced that much, you don't really have any, this person's been doing this. You have nothing, right? You're flying blind.
You have no idea where anybody is at, how like, did they have pool access?
Right.
Did they take a break? Like, we don't know. Like, there's been no like signs of, you know, testing yourself. And like, I didn't really get to test myself in Cozumel because I was never pushed. I was so, but yeah, and being on a pan flat course like this, where like being aero is really important, and you know, being
really
tactical, it's you know, you're in one position for a long time, so like it's so unlike anything else.
Yeah. And for you, what will this, I think right before COVID hit, you were talking, this was going to be an Ironman year for you. So it was almost like, phew, maybe next year there'll be an earthquake, and the following year is volcano.
I was super bummed. I really wanted to just, you know, fly under the radar and just do an Ironman when, and it was perfect. You know, I planned it out perfectly that I was going to do a full Ironman at St. George, where it was just the full and not the 70.3.
That's a hard race.
But I love the course. I love climbing, and it's not technical descent.
That's
so it's
true.
like the best kind of climbing.
Yeah.
And like, I've done well at that course.
Yes.
So that would have been perfect. And it was early enough that I could still then, you know, think, oh, it's not for me. I can go back racing 70.3. So it was like a long training day.
Right.
So yeah, now it's like, you know, I'm trying to look through the race calendar again and seeing like, can I do this next year? Because that's still like what I'm curious about.
Right.
But I don't want it to hurt my 70.3.
No, because that's where your focus is.
Yeah.
But if you go to St. George and, oh, by the way, win the thing, then all of a sudden you get Kona.
St. George is a 70.3 next year.
Oh, that's right. It's not a full.
Yeah, so back to the drawing board.
You can always put it off for another year.
I know.
No, but you want to do it this year.
I want to do it now.
I want to do it now. Hey, I was talking to Heather Jackson a little earlier, and she said, you know, the nice thing about what happened is the steady training, the consistent training for the last 6 months of not breaking up your training to recover and to build and travel and all the rest of it. It was really good for her in the long run. For you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like racing because then I'm someone that likes like going super hard for a few weeks, and then you race really hard, and then you recover, and then it's like those little blocks.
Right.
Whereas like there's some athletes that are like, you know, this is the first time I've strung a year together without being injured.
Right.
So then they're going to be dangerous all of a sudden when we're not, you know, used to them. So yeah, it's affected everyone so differently.
I love that. I know you've got a pro meeting to get to, so I will let you go.
Thanks.
Always a pleasure, Holly. Have a
thanks,
great race on Sunday, and we'll see you at the finish line.
Yeah, thanks.
Holly Lawrence has been our guest, everybody. Again, that is a wrap. Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Daytona and PTO 2020 Championship. Hold on, everybody, and join us tomorrow morning. See you then. Bye.